Hi everyone and welcome back to Gina C Creates. Today I'm going to show you how to make these gorgeous North Pole Christmas props using mostly items from the Dollar Tree. You can get the North Pole sign SVG from GinaCCreates.com, and here are a few supplies you will need to get started. You're going to need a blanket of snow cover to cover your base. And I grabbed this bag from Walmart. It's only $4 and it's really fluffy and comes with a lot more. It's about 13 feet in coverage. And you can see the texture is more fluffy and thick. So I just thought this was a better decision than using the one that they have at the Dollar Tree. You can see it's very flat and it comes with glitter. So I didn't like the look and feel of this one, but that is an option if you want to just get all the supplies from the Dollar Tree. And then you're going to need this wire basket. It is the short one. I know they have a taller one, but I grabbed the shorter basket. And then you're going to need the broomstick and a white pool noodle. You'll also need a spool of red ribbon. So I grabbed this one at the Dollar Tree as well. It is the 3 yards and it is the wired metallic red and it is 2.5 inches thick. So you'll just need one per pole. And then you'll also need the LED light up Christmas ornament that they have. It has a little battery in it so you could turn it on and it lights up. So I thought that was really cool to be the top of the pole. And then you'll also need their little fairy string lights. And we're going to put it inside the pole. And this is just optional if you want it to light up. If you don't, you can leave them out. And if you want to have the North Pole sign at the top, you're going to need this wooden hanging sign. It is the longer one. They don't have the size on it, but it's about 18 inches long and 4.5 inches in width. And we're just going to cover it with some red acrylic paint. And I'm using some white vinyl for my lettering. And I'm going to cut that out with my Cricut. And then I also grabbed a pack of these cool foil cardstock samples. These are really great to just have on hand because they have different colors in it. And we are going to use this for the sides to cover up our holes. And I'm also going to cut this with my Cricut. But if you don't have a Cricut, you can still create the North Pole sign by cutting it by hand and just painting on the lettering. So if you want my North Pole SVG, go to GinaCCreates.com to download the free file, and then you can upload the SVG to Design Space. And the SVG might display as a HTML doc with an internet icon. So just make sure you upload that file to Cricut Design Space and make sure it is sized with a 4.5 inch height and the width is a little shy of 18 inches. So once we have it the correct size, we are just going to right click and hit ungroup. And for this white box that I have in the background, that is just my template. I actually don't need to cut this part, but I wanted to include it in the SVG in case you want to cut it out with cardstock and just make your own paper sign, just to cut down on costs. So it's up to you how you want to create your North Pole sign. So I'm just going to turn off the eyeball for this because I don't need it. And then I'm left with the North Pole and then the two side brackets for the sign. And this just is going to cover up any holes that we might have in our sign because we got them from the Dollar Tree. And then for the North Pole, we are going to hit attach so we can cut it with vinyl and it will be all in one piece. And then we can click make it. And you can see the wording is longer than the 12-inch mat. So you will need the 24-inch mat if you want to cut it in one piece. Or you can go back and detach it. And you can cut these onto different pieces. So you can use your 12-inch mat and then you can just place it by hand in the center. So that is what I did, and I cut out on Vinyl Plus, and we are just going to weed this off and save it for later so we can add it to our sign. And then next I am going to cut on the cardstock. And I cut this out on Cardstock Plus for the foil cardstock. And I just cut out my 2 little pieces. Next, we're going to take our sign from the Dollar Tree and we're going to take out the rope. And we are just going to paint it with acrylic paint. And just make sure you lay some protective paper down on your desk before you start painting, because we are going to paint all sides, front and back, and then we are going to make sure we cover the edges as well, because you are going to be able to see the sign from the back too. So you just need to make sure you have all these edges covered with your paint. And then we need to let our sign dry for about 30 minutes before we add our decal decorations on top. So we are going to move on to creating our pole. And we are going to first start with the red ribbon. And we are going to wrap it around our white pole noodle, and making sure we have it evenly spaced between the stripes. And then we could cut off the top and have it aligned with the pole noodle. You'll also need your hot glue gun to hold your ribbon in place at the top. So we are just going to hold that down with some hot glue and letting it dry before we start wrapping it around. So we're just going to start spreading out our ribbon and turning it so it's evenly spaced. And then you'll apply a small amount of hot glue to each turn. So you'll just place it at the top of the ribbon where it's being held, and just keep turning and just making sure it's still evenly spaced as you go all the way down. And the key is to making sure that the white stripes are the same thickness as your red ribbon. And then once you get down to the edge, you could just cut it off and glue it as we did to the top. And then now we have our striped pool noodle. And for the rest of the ribbon, we are going to make it into a bow. So you can just cut the edges at an angle. And I just did some bunny ears and tied it into a bow. And then you can just fluff it out so we can add it to the top. Next, we're going to take our fairy string lights and wrap it around our broomstick that we got from the Dollar Tree. And you're just going to untie them and string them out. And then we're going to use a piece of tape to hold it at the top. So the broomstick that has the spirals, we are just going to wrap our metal around it and use some tape to hold it at the top. And we are just going to wind it around our pole. And the battery pack should be even with the bottom broom handle that has the hole. So make sure you didn't wind it too much, because that battery pack needs to go all the way down to the bottom of your broomstick. And next we're going to take our wire basket and we're going to use some scissors to cut a hole in the direct center. So I'm just cutting out like 3 of the little diamonds at the bottom, and it's going to make a hole. You don't want to make the hole too big as the pool noodle, because we want it to sit in there tight. So once we cut out 3 of those diamonds, you can bend back some of the wires to make the hole. And then we're going to take our broomstick and we're going to feed it through our pool noodle. And it helps if you turn while you're pushing it in, because it can be kind of tight because we have the string lights. And make sure you pull the pool noodle all the way down till it reaches the bottom of the broomstick handle, and that battery pack is sticking out as well. And next we're going to stick it into our base. And for our basket, make sure that hole is not too big, just enough for that battery pack to slip through. And you can see that it sits right on top. So we're going to squeeze the pool noodle and push it through the hole. And we want it to be tight because that is what is going to keep it from falling over. So if you cut your hole too big in the basket, it definitely won't stand up straight. So start with a small hole and you can bend it bigger as you push it through. And make sure it's tight and in the center, and it should stand up straight. And you can also apply some hot glue around the base so it doesn't move. So next we're going to take our blanket of snow and we're just going to wrap the base, and we are just going to cut off the excess. So once we have our length, we can unwrap it and fold it in half. And then we're going to wrap it around the base again and use some hot glue to secure it in place around the bottom of the pole. So you can fold it however you like, and you can fluff it up. You can have the snow going up higher. It's up to you how you want your North Pole to look. And just use more hot glue to secure the blanket into place so we can cover the base. Next, I'm going to show you how to make the North Pole sign. So I have my 2 cutouts of my cardstock, and I'm just going to use some craft glue to hold them in place, making sure to cover up the holes that were on the wooden sign. So I just have them evenly spaced on the edges. And then I'm going to use some transfer tape that I got from the Dollar Tree as well, so I can add my vinyl on top. I really like this Contact brand liner. It is clear, transparent contact paper from the Dollar Tree, and I use it as transfer tape, and it works great with cardstock or on top of painted surface because it's not super sticky where it's going to pull off your paint or rip your cardstock. So definitely give that Contact brand a try for the transfer tape. Next, we're going to add our North Pole sign with some hot glue to the top of the pole right under the bulb. And I also cut out a blanket of snow and did some squiggly lines to add to the top and to the top of the bulb. And here is how my North Pole sign came out using mostly Dollar Tree items. You can make this for under $10. And then next I'm going to show you how to create it with just the ribbon. So that ribbon we made earlier, we're just going to use some hot glue and add it to the top. And then we're going to turn on our bulb from the top and put it upside down into the hole. And now we just have a cute, simple candy cane pole that we can use for Christmas decorations, or you can use it at a prop at a school play or events or church events. These are definitely fun and festive. Here is how they look without the lights, and I still think they look great. These are very lightweight, so I recommend using them for indoor parties. They can be used outside, but I would just say not for a long period of time. They need to be brought in at night or during bad weather. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you over at GinaCCreates.com.